Wake up, get high, all day through the night, prepare to take flight through the sky. Start your day right. Wake up, get high, all day through the night, prepare to take flight through the sky.
Top of the Wake and Bake, everybody. You already know what it is, man. It's your boy Fax, host of the Wake and Bake Show, baby. Doing what we do best, trying these strains. Today, it's an honor, a blessing to have you here. I got Richard Delicio here, CEO of the Delicioso brand. It's an honor to have you here, Rich. You know,
it's an honor to be here, by the way.
Yeah, man.
I'm blessed just to be here.
It's a blessing to have you here.
It's been my trail since I've been home. Each new step is a new blessing, and it comes from upstairs. So I don't have any doubt about it.
So let's talk about it, Unc. You've been out since December 8th, 2020, right?
Right.
We are now, fast forward. Let's fast forward a little time. I know you've been moving around, and also, like a tour for the Delicioso brand. I see you moving and working. It's amazing to see you, how the energy you have and the way you're able to move and network, at your age. It's motivating even seeing you move that way. You're a big motivation for me, seeing you come out, thinking about the time you've done. I can't even think about that, it's just, and like I said,
Does the audience actually know how much time I actually did?
Well, let's let them know. It's about 36 years.
I'm the longest serving nonviolent inmate in the history of the United States for a nonviolent marijuana charge. I have no history of any violence or any kind of anything on my record, but 2 marijuana charges.
And 36 years.
I did 32 straight in the maximum security prison last time. And the time before, like 3.5.
Wow. Let's talk about it. Wow. When you started early age, like, before you went in, let's start off a little bit before the time. Around what age did you start smoking weed?
13.
Wow, that's around the same time I started at 12 as well. I started at 12. Really smoking at 13 heavy. I could say 13.
I was actually selling smoke at 14.
Oh, snap. That's same.
Selling smoke at 14.
What was the first strain you sold? Do you remember? What was one of the first?
Yep,
strains?
it was Oaxacan.
Wow.
From Oaxaca, Mexico.
Holy snap. You see, now these are strains I can't even.
And you want to know something?
Never find at this point in life, but that's amazing.
I would buy like, it was like $30 a pound.
$30 a pound?
And I would buy a suitcase for it. It'd be like 35, I'd wind up with like 35 pounds. But these things look like, did you ever see a mat of firecrackers? You know what a mat is?
Yes, for sure.
That's what they look like.
Wrap?
They were crushed, compound, like with a book press, and then they were covered with the same stuff they put around the fireworks, the colored paper.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So you could put like 40 of them, 50 of them in a big suitcase, you know what I mean?
And that was how you start, like, your first journey? Well,
that's how I started.
So how much did you start off with? What was your first? Did you start off with like an ounce? What was?
No, we bought
kickoff?
me and my friend, me and my partner, we bought a quarter of a pound.
Quarter of a pound.
My friend BT, yeah.
Oh, snap. So that cost you about how much? It was the same strain we were just talking about.
You know
right?
what it was at that time? When we bought the quarter of a pound, we were buying it from somebody that was selling it after they got it from somebody that got it from where we wound up going to really get it.
Okay.
Because when we went to the people, we said, we're not playing. We want to, rock and roll. The people that you have here now, they're not rocking and rolling.
They don't have enough.
But we'll make you rock and roll. and the people just said, okay, we'll deal with you. Nice. And they were actually wise guys.
Wow. So the quarter pound, you turned the quarter pound into a half half. until-
right? Then
How
a
long did it
pound.
take you? That first quarter pound, how long did it take you
Oh, to get rid of it?
to get rid of it? Yeah.
Like about 3 days in nickels.
3 days in nickels?
Yep.
Man, so you were dealing with your high school peers, right?
Yeah, all high school kids. High
Okay.
school, then middle school, like, when you're
Okay.
like 14, 15, 16-year-olds.
Wow.
Like the 17-year-olds would come around us, especially after we got, like, when we started selling hash and stuff,
And then you guys moved up to the hash. We'll get to that, though. All right, so you guys were selling. So how did you feel the first time getting rid of your first QP with your friend? How did you guys feel?
Oh, on this deal here?
Yeah, on the deal that, your first quarter pound that you bought with your friend.
Oh, it was magnificent.
That was like the,
We
the
were
start of something.
we were like in hog heaven then, you know what I mean?
In 3 days,
Because
that's awesome.
Because what happened was we went right back, and that's when we started talking we went around the people
Okay.
to go to the guys, because I was Italian.
Okay.
And my friend was Italian.
Okay.
So
The Connect was Italian as well?
the guy that was selling the weed,
Okay.
he was like one of these like wise guys, the Brooklyn wise guys.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. It was wild.
Wow.
And we told him we weren't about all that. We said we're worried about, we're into like, I had a head down on my shoulders,
Okay.
the same mustache when I was 15.
Wow. You guys were, damn, you had a mustache at 15?
When I was 15, yep.
Man, I mean, there was a lot of good food back then. That's what it was. Organics,
Well, I got involved with, I started hanging around with the Grateful Dead for a long time, so it was
Oh.
like the people I met through the Grateful Dead, I mean, it was,
That's legendary.
yeah.
Legendary band. Wow. How did you meet? How did you get
One of my friends introduced me to this when the Grateful Dead finally just got together, right?
Okay. Around
My
what
friend
time was
Huff
this? Around what time was this?
This was like, you mean what year?
Yeah, what year? Yes.
Oh man, when was that? In the early '60s,
Wow.
Yeah, they would. Let's see, they would. Then the Grateful Dead. Mickey Hart was my Mickey the drummer. One of the
Okay.
drummers for the Grateful Dead. They got two drummers.
Okay.
To play side by side. Mickey Hart was a good friend of my friend's, and he introduced me to him one day in New York City, right? When we were, I was like, I think 17 or 18, right? And then the Grateful Dead is starting to take off. So when the Dead came to town, after I met Mickey Hart, I would go to the Fillmore East. Did you ever hear of that place?
No.
The Fillmore East was down in the downtown.
Okay.
There was two of them. There was a Fillmore East and a Fillmore West. Whenever they played at the Fillmore,
Okay.
all I had to do was knock on the stage door, and whoever was with me that night went into the concert for free, right on stage. All the acid, all the smoke, everything was free.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So you had at that time you had smoked. Did they get the chance to smoke some of your stuff? Because I know you were
Oh,
also.
no doubt. That's what Mickey Hart used to really dig about me and Huff.
Okay. All right.
Because we always had the dynamite smoke.
Awesome.
Wow,
that's legendary right there.
Yeah.
That's legendary.
Remember, I don't know, how old are you?
I'm 37.
No, you're too young too to know about the Chiba Chiba.
Mm-mm.
You know about it, Chiba Chiba? Man alive. Uptown on the west side, up in
Wow.
Colombian land. Oh, it was unbelievable, bro.
Let's talk about the Chiba Chiba. How was that was the next strain that you moved on to?
Onto the Chiba Chiba.
Yes.
That was more or less the pleasure strain. In other words, if I went and bought an ounce of Chiba Chiba, that was for me.
So that's the high end stuff, basically.
Yeah, it was super
Personal.
high end.
Very small batch.
Yeah, like I would buy an ounce, and me and my friend that I hung around with at the time was his name was Kenneth Darby.
And the Chiba
Big
Chibas.
Kenny.
Big Kenny.
Because I got a little Kenny, that's my partner and my son Rick.
Shout outs to Ken.
Yep.
Much
Shout
love.
out to
And
Ken.
shout outs to Rick.
Much love to you, Rick. We love you guys.
For real. And that's another thing before anything. I want to thank you guys I know you guys, when I asked you guys, shouts to Ken, he hit you guys up, and I asked you guys if you could do a top of the Wake and Bake for me. I wanted to really thank you personally. That
Oh,
was
man,
amazing from the heart. That was the greatest thing ever. And seeing the whole team, big shout outs to the whole Delicioso team, and thank you, Unc, for even getting together with the crew and doing that for me. That was big.
Thank you
know.
for having us. You know.
Yes, that was. I definitely
It's
didn't
a
want to
drag
forget.
that Kenneth and Richard aren't here. You know.
Yeah.
I want them. You know, they'd be sitting right here on the couch with us. Matter of fact, they'd be in these chairs interviewing.
All of us
because they're
together.
so into it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they fought so hard to get me out of prison. 17 years. They fought. You know, they suffered for 32, but they fought for 17. FreeDelisi.com. I don't know if you ever seen it.
Yes.
That's what got the Last Prisoners Project involved.
Big shout outs to the Last Prisoner Project. Definitely big
And
shout out.
Champelli, too.
And Champelli.
Champelli's the one that hooked us up.
Big shout outs to Pelly. Actually, Pelly, I did something with Pelly not too long ago. Great guy. Showed me super love. Big shout outs to you, Pelly. Thank you.
And
as
another
well.
great shout out to Steve D'Angelo.
Steve
and Mary
D'Angelo.
Bailey.
His brother,
The best. My
Yes.
brother Ted DeLisi.
Ted DeLisi.
Yeah, he was my partner through the whole deal.
Yeah, man. That's now that we get into that, shout outs to Ted as well. I know Ted did, if I'm not mistaken, 27 years.
Yep.
Wow. Did you guys did they put you guys in the same facility or they broke you guys up?
Right in the beginning, they made up this phony baloney deal because they wanted to make it so we could never be together again.
Wow.
That we were planning an escape, which was complete bullshit because we thought we were going to beat the case once we got to beat with the Supreme Courts, you know.
Okay.
But they just, went right along with Florida. I was entrapped. I was entrapped into the whole deal by a friend of mine that got in trouble for bringing 400 keys of coke into the country.
Shit, man.
And he didn't do any time for it.
I hate that, man.
Crazy, is that?
Shot down to the rats.
Yep.
KAR, kill all rats. That's crazy. It's amazing to even think about, the situation at hand, because my brother went down like that too, to someone who also,
You don't have to tell me, man. There's 50,000 families, 50,000 people in now, mostly of color, bro.
Right.
You know what I mean? 40,000 of them of color, no doubt. And it's really, really a fucking drag.
It is, and it brings us to talk about the rescheduling now with Biden. That's another thing I wanted to talk about, which kind of sucks.
He's full of shit.
Yeah, if they reschedule, it's gonna impact. I think in the wrong. It definitely
He
in the wrong
didn't
way.
do, all the stuff that he said he did.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't do nothing. There isn't one person. There was fine print on the paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
Once you read it, that was the end of that. You didn't want nothing to do with the deal. No one came home. He didn't let anybody out. Nobody. That I know of. He might have let out maybe one of his kids' friends, but he didn't let anybody out that I know.
And there's still 50,000 people
Yep.
locked in. That's
10,000 in the feds and 40,000 in the states. And they're still sending them to prison for the shit. That's what's so ridiculous. They're actually wasting our money.
And I was also watching on a post, like I said, once again, shout out to Last Prisoner. There was why don't he grant clemency to those currently incarcerated for cannabis, and I agree to that. It's no way that we're making money in all the states, it's legal, and I think there shouldn't be anybody incarcerated for cannabis at this point, We've already passed the threshold of states,
And even they shouldn't be in prison for it. And when they come home, they should just abolish everything that's on their record about cannabis. Everything. Because I'm home, but I can't really do what I want to do. I'm a convicted felon. You know what I mean? I say I want to go up to Canada to see my friends for the week. You can't come into Canada. You're a felon. And it's completely legalized in the whole country.
That's true. That
Is
sucks.
that sick?
That sucks. In all honesty, I feel like it's unfair. You know, it shouldn't be that way. Especially that it's legal. Like I said, it's not making any sense.
Nope.
At this point, I feel like make it make sense. Even with the licensing and seeing everything that's going on right now.
They figured it out in New York. They said, "Whoa, we're short here, we're short there. We can't fix this. We can't do that. Oh, if we legalize this, we can fix all that stuff."
Hmm.
That's why it's legalized right here in this state. That's why we can walk down the street smoking a joint. No one's going to say nothing to us.
Yep.
I was out where I grew up, right?
Yeah.
It's a little straight out there, you know what I mean? Breezy Point. And I went into the store and I got a sandwich and stuff, and I sat down on the bench in front of the bar, you know? The bar wasn't open yet, but I sat there. It was early in the morning. And I ate a sandwich. And then after the sandwich, I took out one of them. You see that joint that you had?
Yeah.
The one that we smoked?
Yes.
I took one of them out, like about that size, and started smoking. And one of the security guys come over to me and said, hey, that ain't allowed around here. I said, what are you talking about? That guy's smoking right over there. Guy was smoking a cigarette.
Yeah.
So he says to me, oh, he's smoking a cigarette. You're not allowed to smoke that over here. I said, what do you got to see my medical card?
Yeah.
He backed right up off of me. and the little partner that was with him, the young kid,
Yeah.
gave me like a, you know?
That's awesome.
But I would never do it again there, you know, because, I don't want, to make no bad vibes.
I feel you.
grew up
Respect
there,
that. What was your first joint outside like? Actually seeing other people smoking in front of the cop for the first time.
What happened was, here's what happened. I come out, right?
Okay.
Meanwhile, the parking lot,
Yeah.
there's 80 people waiting on me. You know how crazy that is? There's like, they made the camera, or all the TV news.
Yes.
7, 10, 12, 2. They ran them off the property. Because they had tractor trailers, trucks with all the stuff hang. They put everything out. So they made them go down to the end of the road, and there was a giant parking lot, and they all set up. So I come out, and all these people were there. I mean, it's crazy. You know what I mean?
I seen it. You had to
I
walk.
see my grandkids for the first time. It's
Okay.
like, wow. You know what I mean? I'm going through emotions that are just completely off the chain, and I'm like, holy shit. So they said, what do you want to do? Go eat. So I said, yeah, we'll go eat at this crab place.
Okay.
That I knew from when I went away in the beginning, right? I have no idea what's going on the end of the road. We ain't getting out of there without getting interviewed from all the TV stations.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I go, come on, let's get out of here. So we jump in this SUV with black windows and all, and we're down the road. There's like 5 cars. There's 5 sets of cars getting out of the place, right?
Yeah.
We get to the end of the road. It's like, whoa. Into the parking lot where the news people are. They told them when we left, there was a cop up there. Said, yeah, make sure you put them in with the news people. I was looking to get out on 27 and go down to Hollywood and eat, But
They had you set up for the
that was
interviews. I also noticed when you came out, excuse me, they made, I seen you had to walk that path before. They didn't want you to, they made you walk straight. Is that the reason why? Because of the camera people and all the people that were set up down?
there was a lot of people. There was a few camera people there with the the little units
Yes.
hanging off their shoulder.
Yeah, I seen that. Yes.
They didn't have the other stuff, the big
Okay.
with the flash thing, all that stuff that they set up,
Yes.
So yeah, there was they got it down pretty good. It showed the sergeant coming out with me, right?
Yeah.
I said, hey Sarge, I said, you better get ready for what's about to happen when you go in the parking lot with me. She goes, what's up? What do you mean? I said, you'll see when I come out the back door. I'm at the second gate and they see me there. Because one of the cops, one of the sergeants that I knew, came to me and said, hey, DeLisi, there's fucking tractor trailers out there waiting for you. I said, what? He said, tractor trailers. I said, what are tractor trailers for? He said, they're news guys from all the channels, Palm Beach, Tampa Bay, all Fort Lauderdale, Miami. They all came. It was crazy. you know. And I'm looking. The only thing I'm thinking about is getting out of there and going to eat and spending time with my family. Because when we wound up going to the restaurant, there was probably 25 of us that went into the restaurant. We took the whole place over.
Wow.
You know, a whole area of the restaurant. They just said, "Yeah, man, just close that off and leave them alone. They'll be here a while." And we were there probably for 2 or 3 hours. You know.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was like taking the weight, you know, and just,
Off the shoulders.
you know, it was over. But I couldn't smoke because they had me on parole and probation, which they don't have in Florida. In prison, you can't get out on parole no more.
Okay.
But they did it with me for 2 months.
So you had to wait 2 months.
What happened was I knew about the medical thing. So my nephew
Okay.
hooked me up with the bud doctor.
Nice.
Shout out to the bud doctor.
Oh, yeah.
My brother. And he hooked me up. What he did was, I had to go see him.
Mm-hmm.
He hooked me up. You know, he talked to me and stuff. He said, "You're going to get a medical card." I got the medical card, right? But my probation officer, my parole officer that I'm going to visit,
Yeah.
he says, "Man, you don't have to worry. I'm never going to have you piss in a cup." All right?
That's awesome.
So about the last week, I go see the parole officer, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to see him no more after this.
Okay.
So he says to me, "Hey, man, I need you to piss in the cup for me." I said, "What do you mean piss in the cup?" I said, "I'm pissed dirty, man. I've been smoking hash and weed." I said, "I got a medical card." He said, "Oh, man, I ain't checking you for that. I'm looking for cocaine and heroin, morphine." That's what he told me. I pissed in the cup. I never seen him again.
Awesome.
That's how cool they were.
Awesome.
This guy was so cool. It was ridiculous.
Awesome, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, he was.
So what was your first J like once you were able to?
Well, you know, it was.
Do you remember what strain too?
Huh?
Do you remember what strain you smoked as soon as you came home?
It was something that it was probably it was either something from Champelli or Flux.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because
shouts to Pelly and Flux.
yeah, you know what I mean. It was something that was serious. You know.
Cool.
Yeah, because my son had rented this house,
Okay.
like right up from the beach. I don't know if you've seen any film of the where I stayed. We had to get permission. I actually called up my probation officer
Okay.
before anything, and I said, "Hey, listen, my son came from Europe with his family. He rented a house. I can't. The address where you got me registered. You know, you're gonna peek in on me, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they show up in the middle of the night, knock on the door. Where is he? He's not here. Okay, violate him. You know, and that would have been right up their alley with me.
Wow. So how did that party go?
It went. We partied for like my son stayed. I stayed, I think, 2 weeks in the house. He rented this house for like 3 weeks. He had it a week before and he had it for a month.
Nice.
But it was swim pool, the whole, really like a 5-bedroom house.
Nice.
It was serious.
Nice. Good, man. That's awesome. So let's get into this now. So you finally tried to, you started smoking.
What happens is, Redman gets in touch with us, right?
That's your next cipher with Redman?
Dig what happens.
Yo.
Here's how I get into business.
Okay.
With True Leaf.
Okay.
Redman gets in touch with us, right? And he's having a party. And he knows about me. He wants me to come. So we said, yes, we'll come down. It was like on a Wednesday, but the party was on a Saturday at this mansion in Coconut Grove.
Nice.
So I call up Kenneth, and we said, yeah, we'll go down there, right? So we were down there, and we're hanging out. There's probably like hip-hop, a lot of rappers, heavy, it's a heavy-duty party. It was in this big mansion in Coconut Grove. And the lady that owns True Leaf, which is the biggest marijuana company in the world,
Okay.
is at the place. And I'm not sure if it was Redman that said it. said to me and Kenneth, said, go make that lady feel bad for selling marijuana. And you just got out of prison. Make her feel guilty. I think Redman said it. But I could be mistaken, you know.
Okay.
Someone said it. And Kenneth bolted, my nephew,
Okay.
bolted towards her, right? And said, excuse me, Kim. She was going out, you know. She's got the guys with her, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
She's a heavy-duty woman, you know.
for sure.
So they're making their way out. And Kenneth, like, runs up on her, you know. Says, hey, yeah, I want you to meet my uncle, Richard DeLisi. She goes, Richard DeLisi? I know exactly who he is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know his whole, she knew everything about me, right?
Yeah.
So I walk over, and she puts a hand out to shake my hand. I look in her eye. I knew we clicked right there. You know how you know when you shake someone's hand and you look at them?
Yes.
They look at you, man. It don't matter what color, where they're from. You just know, right?
Yes.
So I just knew. And then my nephew says, "Oh, you know, we'd like to do something with your company." And she goes, "Oh, I can't mess with you. You're messing with Berner.
Mm.
You know, you're all hooked up with Berner with cookies." I said right there. I said, "Well, I'm not involved with cookies." I said, "I got no paperwork with cookie." I said, "I'm talking about Florida. I'm a Floridian, and I want my stuff here."
Nice.
And she really dug the trick deal with the name. You know, my real name. This is my real name. You know, right here.
DeLisi.
That's my name.
Yes, sir.
So you know, with SOS, that turns into delicious.
Delicioso. Yeah, delicious.
Yeah. So the whole thing was. So she said, "Come up to Tallahassee. Come up to my office, and I'll sign. You know, I'll put you on the deal."
Nice.
We were up there, and it was like.
The birth of Delicioso.
Yep, and it took a little while because the particular thing that we wanted
Mm-hmm.
took a while to make the moms and then the babies, you know, and
The process.
you know the full
yeah,
routine.
the process.
You know, it started with like a half a football field. Now it's like rows of them.
Let's go.
Yeah,
Congrats
yeah.
on
We
that.
set all kinds of records with them.
That's
You
beautiful.
know, we set all their records at the stores.
Awesome.
You know, they everybody, the Delicioso thing, everybody like semi knows the story. It's only the youngsters, you know, the guys that are like between like 18 and 25,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that don't give, you know, they don't care about nothing. Yeah, let's get some smoke. And
Yeah.
they don't care about the history of
The
how it
history.
happened.
Cause they're blessed. They're actually lucky.
Yeah,
They
they
don't have to
they
go.
actually are because they didn't suffer through all that bullshit that we went through.
That's true.
You know?
You know, I agree with you 100%.
And you got to remember, I go back 50 years doing this shit, way over 50. You know?
Back to the Woodstock days, huh?
Yeah, Woodstock, no
Wow.
doubt.
Wow. What was that like? Because I'm too young. I was too young to even know. But I know when it started, it was around the 70s, right? That Woodstock started late 60s.
Oh, me?
No, Woodstock.
Woodstock was 19. Oh man, 19.
Very historic Woodstock.
I got a poster.
69.
69.
Wow. And
I just bought a poster of a guy. This guy was having an estate sale, right?
Uh-huh.
And I seen the poster. I said, "What about that poster over there, man?" He said, "You could have it." He knew who I was, you know. This estate sale had all. It was like this house that had all this trick shit in it, you know.
Wow.
That he was selling. He was getting, you know, it was like a museum, but it was his house.
That's
You know?
fucking cool.
Yeah, he had like trick shit in there, you know. Really cool stuff. But I wound up picking up a couple of things from him I bought. But he gave me the poster. I'm having it, you know, framed and boarded and all that stuff now.
Well, your experience with Woodstock, what was that like?
I never got to Woodstock.
No?
My motorcycle broke down. That's why I didn't get to Woodstock. Because I was going to go on my Volkswagen bus, but you couldn't get there. So I went with my bike, and something happened to the fuel system on it. I had a Triumph, and the fuel system, something happened. Maybe I got bad fuel or something.
Damn.
That's how I missed Woodstock. And every one of my friends that I grew up with went there.
Damn.
Every one of them. Nobody missed it. They were there for the whole deal.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And around that time, that's that was the real like the beginning of the
For sure.
of the pop era.
For sure.
Like the strong, like the hippie era of when it really began. And people were coming together, showing love and smoking. In
Yeah, it was like
unison.
free love and smoke pot and do acid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? LSD was a big thing.
Mm.
LSD and DMT and all that shit. All them psychedelics, all the
Yeah.
mushrooms. I mean, that was a big thing when I was growing up.
Shit.
I took a couple hundred trips in my life. For real.
I'm a shroom head. I took shroom. Haven't tried the LS. I've recently, not gonna lie, I tried a DMT pen. That was kind of put me in the matrix. That was different.
What it does is it hits hard.
I couldn't move.
Put it this way. The first time I smoked DMT was like, I guess maybe 1969.
Wow.
My sister's son was getting baptized, and I was leaning up against a wall right off of Rogers Avenue and looking at the back of a movie theater that was, a brick. How they make the movie theaters that all out of brick?
Mm-hmm.
But this was the back of the movie theater, and there was a street. I remember I took a drag of that shit, and when I was letting it out, I'm talking about paisleys were coming,
Yeah.
colors. And I looked at the wall. I looked at my brother-in-law, and I said, buddy, is the same thing happening to you that's happening to me? I said, yeah. Just like that. He said, yeah, and leaned up against the wall. It was like a 15-minute buzz.
Yes, and you cannot move. I couldn't move. As much as I wanted to move, I couldn't move.
Didn't you hear what I just said? We were leaning up against. He leaned against the wall next to me. As soon as it hit him,
Wow.
like I took a drag,
Yes.
and I handed it to him. We had a corncob pipe. I remember it. It's clear as day. We had a corncob pipe, and we filled it with weed, and then melted the DMT was in chunks of. It was orange, like a reddish orange, and you had to melt it on the weed to get a good, to get blasted.
Wow.
And man,
That's different. See, I did it out of a pen.
yeah, you added a pen. Yeah,
Yeah.
I got a few of them at the house. I never touched them.
And I'm not gonna lie, on the exhale, exactly what you said. It was just like,
The colors, I mean, it's just like,
oh, my friend. Shouts to my guy, Ra, and my boy, oh my God, what's this guy's name, man? Well, my guys at QCC, my boys. I was hanging out, and they put the TV on for me. They made it comfortable for me, So, once I hit the pen, they had this this trippy thing on the screen. Forget about it. It was over from one dimension to the next, and 15 minutes. I'm telling you, it was different.
yeah.
So I know that.
Hey, would
that's
you
crazy.
twist one of them things up?
Okay, cool. So, getting it. Let's now get into the. It's been. I see you was on tour recently. You went on the Wiz with Seth. Shout out to Seth, my guy Seth in the building. Seth Zeppelin in the building. Appreciate you, my guy. I see you guys were recently. Was it what tour? What? The high school reunion tour in West Palm Beach.
Oh yeah, with Snoop.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Burner. Yeah.
Yeah. What was
Oh,
that
no,
like?
that was like you just said. This guy does stuff, that's just like whoa.
Shouts to Seth
You know?
again,
It was pretty cool. The thing was, I didn't get to really hang with Snoop.
Mm-hmm.
We were supposed to hang, but something happened, with security,
Yeah.
how that stuff goes.
But tell him what it was like going to Wiz's.
Yeah.
Oh, it was unreal.
Like that.
Like
The energy.
like
and seeing that,
Yep.
how was that for you?
When
Like,
when you grab a hold of someone and you feel love, bro,
okay,
that's what it is.
okay, I like
That's
that.
what it is. Just like when I was upstairs
Hmm.
and I was hugging everybody. I
Yes,
felt pure love from everybody. There
wow,
was no bad vibes there, you
yes.
know, and no bad vibrations. That's
That
a
was
real
shot.
important thing when.
Yep. Shouts to Dead Prez. You know what I'm saying? Shouts to Shabinsky that was upstairs as well. That was love, man. Um
Oh, and back to that.
yeah.
So I wind up getting with True Leaf, right?
Okay.
And on 420, which was the launch date, I
Okay.
sold my first joint in Florida in a store to a person legally.
What was that feeling like?
It was like I said to the person, which she follows me wherever I go.
Yes.
She's married, with children and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But she always shows up somewhere when I'm around town.
Okay.
They'll call me and they'll say, "Hey, yeah, we're going to open up a store. Could you make sure you make an appearance there?"
Yes.
The first day. So I'll go there with T-shirts and hats and
Okay.
sweatshirts, maybe backpacks or lighters, all kinds of, you know, um,
The merch.
stuff to give away.
And what, like, besides that like I said, that feeling must be amazing. The first
no doubt.
sale you made legally.
Shout out to Kim Rivers.
Like, a lot of things must have flashed. Like, man, from thinking of back to where we came from to where things are now. I could imagine how things probably flashed in front of you.
It was like hard to believe. When I sold that joint, it was hard to believe. I said, finally. And it's not even legal in Florida. It's medical only.
Mm-hmm.
They're not really not hurting for money in Florida. They got so many other things going on. It's not like, other states that could use it to make, like I heard so many stories about Colorado.
Yes.
How good it was for the state that when they legalized the weed there, I mean, all kinds of great things, roads, bing, boom, bing, you know what I mean? It made a big difference in the state. And it's going to make a big difference all over the world. It makes a big difference to me and you, just to be able to get up in the morning and smoke a joint if we want to.
And not worry about things anymore. How they used to be.
New York, Florida, you can't walk around smoking it.
Yeah.
I mean, I do, but
it's not like here.
Come and break your chops.
How do you feel about the culture here in New York?
The way they're doing it?
The way everything's going, yeah.
I love it. That's the way it should be in every state.
Yeah.
That's the way it should be in every country.
Mm-hmm.
Every country.
I agree. Hopefully they fix these things with the laws, and they really make things right. Also for all the prisoners that's still locked up.
Yeah.
You
got to get them home.
Got to get them home, Once again, shout outs to the Last Prisoner Project. Big shout outs to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Richard Delisi, for coming through and showing love to the Wake and Bake Show.
For sure, man.
Making time.
I'm honored to be here, bro.
Thank you. And I'm, it's a blessing to have you here, Thank you for all you have done, the time and from the heart, everything, you've done for us, and the legacy and the people, in the industry.
6 months, I want to come back. We'll do this again.
Let's do it. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
I told the guys upstairs, don't worry. I got the address. I know how to get up here now.
All right.
And they said, man, whenever you want, you come.
Thank you very much, for real. Thank you, Seth. I appreciate you. Thank you as well for making things, putting things together, lining us up. Big shout outs to Kenny. I love you, man. Thank you for everything.
Shout out to Rick.
Shout outs to Rick, the whole RBG, the whole Delicioso team. I appreciate you guys very much. Like I said, Uncle Rick is a blessing. I want to give you a pound and a hug. Thank you.
All right, my
Coming here and showing us love.
For real.
Man. This is big, and like I said, it's for the culture. I love what you guys are doing. Keep doing what you guys are doing. Big shout outs to the whole Delicioso team once
The
again.
only way I'll stop is if I don't wake up in the morning.
It's a blessing to have
That's
you.
it.
Thank you, man. For real. Every ladies and gentlemen, clap it up for Richard Delicioso on the Wake and Bake Show. You know, I like to give a shout out to all the sponsors. You know, shout outs to Empire Club NYC. Shout outs to QCC. Big shout outs to Seymour Sorbet, Jimmy the Green Giant Shop, and Surdy Flavors LA, and Guru Cannabis Go. Can't leave you guys out there. And once again, much love and big shout outs to the Delicioso team and Uncle Rich Delici in the building, coming through and showing love. Clap it up, everybody. We out of here.